basically explanatory of homosexuality. So are you basing your understanding of homosexuality based off of religion?
No. I don't make religious arguments against anything. I always make secular arguments because I'm always arguing with people who are secular.
Okay. So basically, if you didn't have to make secular arguments, would you be making religious arguments right now?
I could be. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
So how do I know that your rejection of my information or my theory is not just based in basically a post hoc rationalization of well, I already know God doesn't want gay people, so basically I'm going to ignore any evidence that might contradict my narrative.
I don't see why even if it was, it would matter.
I think it absolutely matters when I give you a perfectly rational explanation for why people existed. You don't give a shit.
You seem to be questioning the motivation rather than the information, and I don't think it really matters what my motivation would be for questioning this if I'm doing it in a secular way, and you're not able to contend with it very well.
I think I'm contending with it just fine. Thank you.
Well, I'm just saying it from my perspective. Why does the motivation matter so much to you? As to why I produce this information against homosexuality.
I'll actually explain that. I'll actually answer that. So, for instance, if you have a religious motivation for why you don't think that homosexuality is a thing or why bisexuality is a thing, I can't contend with the orders of God. I'm a human being. I am just a fucking ant. I'll explain.
Sure.
I'm a fucking ant on a dirt ball in the void of space, and within the realm of basically religious thought, I am utterly insignificant unless you basically get back to God loves all of his creation, right? So, on the scale of things, I do not have the authority in order to contradict God from a religious worldview, right? So if you believe that God himself came down to earth, that he inspired prophets in order to write the Bible, that these prophets were very specific in the rules that they handed down to humanity, and that as a result, whenever humanity disobeys this religious teaching, they are actually straying from the will of God. It does not matter how many secular arguments I present to you about scientific theory or endocrinological stuff or genetics or any of that kind of stuff, because ultimately at the end of the day, I'm a person who's arguing with the will of God. So you can present me with secular arguments, but I'm not necessarily convinced that you would be convinced by any of them, even if they were sound.
Is your job's not to convince me in a debate. It would be to convince the viewership who was watching the debate so that they could make up their own minds. So even if I was arguing specifically secular arguments and my motivation for doing so was based 100% on the Bible, I don't really see how that would matter very much.
Okay. Well, then we move on to something else.
Counterpoint, just so you know, we understand that, you don't think you can convince us, but you're here to put your idea out to everyone else, and we're here to contend with it. The point of debate, your opponent is, you both hit a moment where an unstoppable force and an immovable object. You guys are just here to make a discussion for the audience to view, and then they make their judgment. So it doesn't really matter, right?
If actually a country in Africa...
Actually, I wanted to check.
Wait. There was actually a woman, and
my
you can go
argument there
Google
wasn't good. My argument there wasn't
She just gave birth at 70 years old. There's a lady in Africa. You can go look that up.
Wow.
Yes.
Good for her.
Women are evolving.
So
Women are evolving. God damn.
At 70, she literally just gave birth. Now, I'm not trying to be 70 having a baby. Let me just say that. But I'm just saying, it can happen. Miracles happen. Anything's possible. I believe that God will do it, but I don't believe it's going to take that long. I sure hope not. But I'm just saying, it's one of those things where it's not a concern.
I don't mean to cut in, but the woman that you just cited, who was 70 years old, she gave birth to twins, but it was through in vitro fertilization.
Okay.
Yeah, through IVF.
Yeah. But she had the strength. She was the capability to be able to do so. But, and again,
was that miracle or was that science that did that?
Can be a bit of both.
Maybe a bit of both.
I'm not going to.
But I mean, you would even with in vitro fertilization, you would have to say that that's quite the exception to the rule at 70 years old.
Of course, agreed, and that's what I'm saying. Okay. But it's one of those things where you just can't count it out. Is what I'm saying.
You can't count it out.
How many 70-year-olds have tried, though?
70-year-olds getting pregnant. You can't count those out.
Is that
yes, I understand.
rare, or is it just unwanted? How many 70-year-olds have tried IVF? I don't think there's a statistic on it yet. It's very new. And then I doubt there's many 70-year-olds trying to have IVF.
I doubt there's many 7-year-olds that actually want to, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
It might not be that
their
rare.
their bodies at that point are not set for optimal pregnancy. Let's put it that way. It would be extremely high risk for almost any 70-year-old woman to engage in vitro fertilization or even natural birth if somehow they were able to get pregnant at that age. It would not be something that anybody would probably recommend in the medical field.
Hold on, I'll read it in a sec. Bad Choices. The ASRM estimates that the live birth rate for a frozen egg is 2% to 12% for women under 38 years of age, as well as a high probability of a premature birth. This is from the National Library of Medicine. Thank you, Bad Choices. Appreciate it, bro. You're a fucking legend. All right, we have grid 1. Is it gonna work? Fuck. Okay. I did not say they were undateable. I said it was weird. I don't think it's weird. You assumed undateable because that is where your mind immediately went, because that is what you believe. Wait, is this directed at me?
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I said there.
I don't feel like
I didn't say anything about undateable. I just said I don't think it's weird. It's not weird. It's not weird at all. It's rare. But I don't think it's weird. I think it's more rare. Like, men are much more likely, I think, to be virgins than women
At 25.
at 25. I think it's more
I can
likely.
see that.
Yeah, I can see
But
that.
I think that's not like due to attractiveness and like the thoughts that come to your mind first. I think it's also due to like disparity.
Women are
in,
sleeping around.
I think it's due to a disparity in men's mental
Just
health
kidding.
care.
They don't do that. What?
I think it's due to a disparity in men's
You
mental
think
health
men
care.
are virgins because there's
Because
a lack of...
they don't go to anger management. I think it's
Hold on, you
yeah.
just went to fucking places.
Yeah, I did.
You think men are virgins?
I think a lot of men are virgins because they're angry, and it's
What?
hard for them to have a partner when they're so angry.
That's a
and they
hot
have
take.
unresolved-
Andrew, what you
Yeah.
got for that?
Yeah, I mean, but I would just either the logical evidence for it or the empirical evidence. I'm fine with both, but I would like to actually know what the rationality is behind why you think that men, when they're in their early 20s, are not getting together with women.
Grid 1
because they're
Motorsports
think-
donated $100. I did not say they were undateable. I said it was weird, and it is. You assumed undateable because that is where your mind immediately went, because that is what you believe.
Okay. Sorry, that kind of like distracted me. Lost my train of thought slightly. I think I need those numbers on the screen, like over my face right now. So, my point about like men being angry and that leading to them being virgins is the fact that like some men, as I've seen on like forums that are more than just like red pill oriented, like straight up pro incel forums, there are guys who are like just angry and seem to feel entitled to sex and angry and don't understand why they get laid. And I think that lack of confidence and like the mental anguish and anger that they hold is just perpetuating their cycle of virginity.
No, I mean, how many incels do you think there are?
I don't think
Like
there's that many. I
incels?
think more men are good than bad. My boyfriend is a great
Yeah, well, I
example.
mean, if that's the case, then you kind of contradict
I don't
yourself
think there's that
because-
many virgin men either.
No, but if you look at the rate of men who are staying virgins until they're,
I don't know that
past
statistic,
25,
so you'd have
26,
to-
27.
You'd have to
Hang on a second. Let me
Yeah.
finish my point here. So if you're looking at the data here, I would actually like to know why it would be that you would correlate this with anger issues, just because
'Cause
of
of-
some shit you read on forums, or
No, because I'm not looking at the data here. I don't have the statistics in front of me. If you can tell me how many men in the world in their 20s or whatever are currently virgins, then I might form a different opinion, but I don't know.
Okay.
The only ones I know of...
well, let's forget that for a second then.
Okay.
Nickelodeon donated
No,
$100.
How about
A
that?
man was drowning in the water, turned away 2 boats saying God would save him. He drowned and asked God in heaven why he wasn't saved. I sent you 2 boats, idiot. You talk faith, don't refuse a gift.
Yeah, that's It's a pretty funny joke. I've heard many variations of that. But yeah, back to this. If you don't have the data and you're not familiar with the data, then there must be some logical or rational reason why you're coming to this conclusion.
Well, it's just based on like guy friends and people I've like seen online, and just like it's only based on like a statistic based on the amount of males I've seen that are virgins. But that's not all of them, and I'm not suggesting it is. So it is quite likely that if we tallied up all the male virgins in the world, there's much greater reasons than just their anger and lack of mental health, or maybe just in America too, like even if we did that tally. But from what I've seen, and from all these forums that have been put out in recent years, pro incels and for incels, those specific men are extremely angry, and I do think they would have less trouble getting laid if they weren't so angry and if they were just confident in themselves.
Can you give me the name of any of these forums?
Mostly
Just
on
one
Reddit.
name.
Just mostly on Reddit. I like Reddit.
So just Reddit?
Yeah, there's a lot
So
of
can you
people use
that
Reddit, and
these people,
I mean,
that these people are angry because you read it on Reddit?
what?
Nick, can you boost the audio a little bit on?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, you seem to be
That's
coming
fine.
to the opinion that with your rationality is the reason you think that young men are staying virgins for X amount of years because they're angry, even though maybe most of them aren't, but at least a good portion of them are, is because you read it on Reddit for.
No, I didn't read that verbatim. I've seen a lot of angry men complain about their virginity and perpetuate their virginity by doing nothing but complaining and feeling entitled to lose their virginity. I'm not saying that if we tallied up the score on every man that chooses to be a virgin or doesn't choose to be a virgin and is in their 20s or 30s in this earth, then that statistic would prove correct. I'm saying that's what I've seen, and I think that does apply to some, not all, but some, maybe many. I don't know. We don't know the statistic. We don't have the virgin calculator.
Because you've seen it on Reddit.
No, because we don't have the virgin tally.
I mean, we do have the data on this, but absent the data, because you don't know the data.
There's no log for virginity. The government doesn't send a pussy census. There's no log on virginity. Like, no, there's no data on that. That's something that's up for speculation.
Yes, there is. They use a self-reporting system to figure out how many men are staying virgins or not staying virgins. The same way we would collect all data in sociological fields. So, yes, we do have data on this. So you don't know what that data is.
Can you pull up that data?
Hang on, I don't expect you to know what it is. I do want to know what the rationality is, and it seems like the rationality is I read it on Reddit. So.
Can you pull up that data, please? I love to learn things.
Well, actually, I think Brian can. I think he has it in his hot seat. He can just pull up how many self-reported men are reporting virgins until 25. Yeah.
Grid One Motorsports donated $100. So it is weird for men to be virgins, but it is not weird for women to be virgins? Interesting. Do you not understand that it is purity and youth that men value? It's and not either.
No, I don't. I mean, I personally have a couple guy friends who are virgins still, and they're actually both 30 years old. And it's, again, tied to their faith, though. So it's not odd, but if you aren't part of that community, then you wouldn't know. You wouldn't understand. So, there's nothing wrong with them. They're not socially awkward. They're not ugly. They're like, it's not anything like that. I think it's just a standard. And then I know a guy who he personally decided to wait because he had a friend in college who was accused of rape, who never raped a girl, and then I forgot about that.
I wasn't even really paying attention. Where's that coming from?
What?
Why do we need to hear the anecdote about the college sexual assault? How is it related?
I was just saying because for him, he was like, if he wasn't even messing with any girls, then that's why he decided not to. Sorry about that.
Good job.
Forgot.
All right. Cool.
She's saying her friend didn't trust women based on a friend's story, but I think that also ties into like my point that like I think that's like a trauma that he unraveled on himself over a potential scenario that's not of high likelihood. And I think that he could have resolved that in therapy.
I don't understand. Okay, cool. What's the whole thing? You're saying incels are angry? Is that your whole point?
I think most incels are angry. Involuntary. What it stands for, yes.
This whole incel thing is pretty much the biggest absurd moral panic I've ever seen. If the mainstream claims about them were true, we would absolutely be fucked. The number of men without sex lives who want them must conservatively number in the hundreds of thousands across the Western world. I don't know, in reality, the number is probably in the millions. If incels were really as dangerous as this moral panic claims, we would be seeing epic levels of violence, and we're not. So we've seen a few tragic events caused primarily by a toxic combination of mentally ill people. Yeah. And easy to access firearms, and
I agree
it's primarily about mental illness. I think
I agree that statistic's probably in the hundreds of thousands.
Mind you, a lot of these events are hardly restricted to incels. A lot of these are just mostly mentally ill people.
But I said men need mental health care.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, it's not limited to them being incels. Like, men need, in general, like, they need better health care, and they need to swallow their pride and be willing to get mental help more often. They don't often enough.
Cool story, bro. Cool story. I don't know if
Not going to tell it again, don't worry.
That's good. Hold on one sec. Let's see. All right, let me do some other chats here. We have Bender the Offender. Hold on, this is getting pulled up. Oh my God, it's lagging. Sorry, guys. Apologize again for all the issues with our TTS and our, it's obviously not ideal for us. It's kind of disruptive the way it's coming through, but Kentucky had a bill passed in their Senate that would allow women to collect child support payments for an unborn child. Thoughts on this? It's actually a good question. I heard about this. So basically, like during the pregnancy, you mean? What do you guys?
I think that's really valid. I think if the woman is going to have to pay for the pregnancy, like just the medical stuff, literally while they're pregnant, like hospital visits, things like that, time they need to take off work because they can't physically be there, things like that, I think are justified. I think asking for anything beyond that before the child is there, though, is not justified.
So what is justified?
I think that like splitting the medical necessary costs of while you're carrying the child.
Let's say she gets pregnant by a guy who's financially well off and maybe she's a little less well off than he is. Would you be in favor of the guy paying more than split to cover her medical expenses?
No. I think that it should be split unless her financial situation is preventing her from getting the necessary health care.
So before I ask you a question, just going around the table, how do you guys feel? Do you agree with her? The question is, Kentucky passed a bill for Senate that would allow women to collect child support payments for an unborn child. Presumably this would help cover.
The Bronasons donated $100.
Prenatal
of course,
expenses.
men have to make all the compromises for Western women. Either grab your passports or play Helldivers 2. Thoughts will be thoughts. Say Christ is Lord.
Yo, the Renaissance. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Okay, the previous question.
I think I generally don't agree, but I also am from New York City, so we have like access to abortions and stuff. If the guy didn't want to keep it though, and like she's like hypothetically like the term like trapping or whatever, I think then it would be wrong. But I also am not educated on Kentucky's abortion laws. So with that being said, I think that makes a huge difference, because if there's no ability or opportunity to terminate the pregnancy, then...
Grid 1 Motorsports donated $100. I told you, chat, man haters, there is a reason they are single and unmarried, and you are seeing it live. Ladies, you need to take a long hard look at what your value system is, because you are wrong.
Boom, roasted. Okay, thank you, Grid 1 Motorsports. Appreciate it. Not sure entirely who it's directed towards. So,
I
your
think
thoughts
it's silly.
on the men paying
pretty
child
silly.
support before she's given birth? Okay.
Yep. I think, especially if the woman is struggling and it was a decision like that they both made together. yeah, that would be helpful.
What is
Split
the
it.
decision that what is the decision that they both made
To
together?
have sex.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Can I just? I'm just a little confused. I mean, I feel like our bodies are made to protect the baby and take care of it. What payments are you getting?
I feel like on that note, part of the reason why I feel the way I do is because I do have personal medical issues where if I do get pregnant, it will be a little more extra than everybody else typically would for a normal body. So for me, if I got pregnant, it would be a lot more medical bills. It isn't as simple as just going to get an abortion or just carrying this like with minimal medical obligation, if that makes sense. So I feel like it should be a case by case and not necessarily general. But that's why I say that depending on the case, if there are large medical bills to do with that pregnancy, 2 people participated and 2 people have a responsibility.
Okay, I'll come back to that, but
I agree with her. I think it would be helpful, but at the end of the day, I think that's why it's important to have values and morals so that that situation doesn't happen.
what situation?
So that, like, having sex with somebody, you're not sure of whether or not they're going to stick around or you're going to have a relationship. That's why it's very important to know who you are so that when you are out there dating and, you know, sexually active, that you're not doing it with the completely wrong person. So
Okay.
you're avoiding the situation altogether.
Okay.
I approve.
Approve. Okay.
I think it definitely would be helpful for certain women in whatever situation they're in.
Okay. So going back to, I mean, a lot of you seem to be in favor of it. So going around the table then, are you pro-life or pro-choice?
I'm pro-choice, and I think I'm the only one not in favor of it. Yeah, I'm pro-choice, and I think I'm the...
You're not.
Oh.
You're
Oh,
you're not in favor. What about you?
I'm pro-choice.
That's interesting. I'll come back to that.
Pro-life.
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 Okay. So for you guys here, I can sort of see your position on this a little bit. I'm a little confused by your position though. So a woman who, for example, would you agree that a woman who's not financially ready to have a child, would you think that that's a perfectly justifiable reason to get an abortion?
Honestly, yes.
What if she's just not ready to, maybe she is financially ready, but she just doesn't really want to be a parent yet?
I think that no matter what point you're in your life, you can have so many underlying tiny reasons that have led you to decide that, yeah, I think she should have that choice.
Here's another scenario. So she would otherwise be financially ready. She's otherwise ready to be a mother, but remove that for a sec, Nick. But she just wants to keep partying. She doesn't want to, deal with a kid right now.
I think that's irresponsible.
Well, but should she?
I think that it's still not our place to choose for her.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I think
So
I can
why is
disagree with why she's doing it, and I can be like, wow, that's a really dumb decision.
Sure.
But she should
So-
still have the right to choose.
So let me ask you a question. What about in a scenario where you put a man in a situation where he's had a casual sexual encounter with a woman, and he doesn't want to have any children, and the woman gets pregnant and she wants to keep the child, and he wants to, what would you say to him when he says to you, well, shoot, I don't want an 18-year responsibility. I don't want to pay child support. What would you say to him?
I think that he has a certain obligation to do that. I don't think that he has any obligation necessarily to be, I hate to say this, but a parent, because they did not make that decision together. He gets a choice just like she does to be involved in that life. But I think that the second that you have sex, you are kind of putting that risk up, because I definitely know a lot of women who felt that way. There was just a hookup, then they got pregnant, and now they have that 18-year obligation, but they can't just say no,
Yeah, but this is a very strange position. So you said that you essentially support on-demand abortion, correct?
I think with limitations, yes. I think that the term of which you should be able to get an abortion should be limited. And I do think that...
Wait, sorry, Andrew, if it's all right, I just want to have a bit more of a back and forth, but I'm happy to have you jump in on this on just a sec. So, what do you think about deadbeat dads?
I've met deadbeat moms too, so I think a good parent's a good parent, and they'll step up if they'll step up.
But would you look, like, for example, a man who didn't want to financially support an unwanted child, would you look down on him?
I think I would equally look down on that in the way that I would look down on an absent mother, to be honest. I think that...
As opposed to sorry, I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'd love for you to clarify so I could give a more accurate answer.
Well, no, it wasn't so much that, but when it comes to the woman's side of getting pregnant, having an unwanted pregnancy, you're very clearly very progressive on this. You're very, by your own admission, you're pro-choice. However, when we look at the opposite side of this, we look at the male side of this, you're basically like a Bronze Age pro-lifer when it comes to men's responsibility. So why is it, for example, that you object to, you seem like men have an obligation to financially support a child despite his lack of ability to do so, or despite his lack of not wanting to do so? You seem to be kind of, I don't know,
think
you're
it
basically,
should be
you have
indefinite. I don't think it should be just like they have to no matter what. It should... The thing is, my view is a very, very case-by-case basis, which is why it's so hard for me to give you such a direct answer. So I definitely think that there are women that try to baby trap men. And I get that. And I also get that sometimes, like, it's the opposite way around, too. I've seen that as well, men that try to baby trap women. So,
okay. Well, the current state of the law is, regardless of the motivations of the woman, whether she was trying to baby trap him or they were being a bit careless when it came to protection or whatever it may be, if a woman chooses to keep the child and the man doesn't want, the man has no say. Really quick, just like the people that are pro-choice are only pro-women's choice when it comes to men not wanting to be fathers. Most pro-choicers turn into Bronze Age pro-lifers when it comes to the the male side of reproductive rights.
I completely see what you mean, and that's a new perspective for me to look at it. I still believe that women should have a right to choose. A lot of my opinion, I will say, comes from the medical side of things for why I am pro-choice, because I personally might not be able to survive carrying a child to term. I know several other people that are that same way, and there are so many states where if I was there, I would just die, because you're not allowed to have that choice. Okay. And so for the men's side, I don't honestly have super clear, determinate views that I have created for myself, but I do think that there should be some level of choice, especially the way that you're saying that now. I realize that I'm definitely misrepresenting the way that I wanted to say that. And so I think that men should have some kind of choice, whether that be that they have the opportunity to say, hey, I don't believe that I should be locked in this for 18 years. I believe that I took responsibility for my part of this, and she's choosing to do this. There should be some kind of court where you're able to show that it was not malintent, that you got this person pregnant, and that you should be able to have just as much freedom in that choice as they do. But in that case, I think there should be some sort of government support.
You should have to petition a court to do that?
No, I'm saying there should be a different route than there is now. Like, there should be something in place that there currently isn't.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, is we should have something in place specifically for this if we're wanting to give both of them a choice.
Well, that wasn't your position earlier. Your position earlier was, when it came to the Kentucky thing, not only should men pay child support, they should also pay before the child's even born, which is totally unprecedented in any state in the U.S.
I think for medical bills,
I don't think,
they should have to help.
Men should have to pay.
I think that this should also involve with that. They should have the choice to go and prove that they, shouldn't have
to. But
you
can't coincide, like, you cannot hold the pro-choice position, but also your position should be men should be obligated to pay for a woman's health expenses
a
related to
question?
pregnancy. You know what? You're welcome to ask questions, but you ought to wait until I finish my sentence before you ask if you can ask a question.
Well, that's how we were instructed to like interject if there's no
Yeah, but
opportunity to
you
interject.
know how I was like in the middle of a sentence and you like interrupted me? Can you not
it's gonna
interrupt
have
me?
to interrupt at some
No, there's, you know
point,
how
there's
there's
no
periods? You know how there's periods?
Yeah.
You can kind of wait until there's a period.
And then it leads directly into her response, and then I'm interrupting
Go ahead.
her instead. I just wanted to know if you would still be pro-choice if you didn't have any medical factors in play. Not you personally, like just in general in like the world.
Wait, like if there's
Like if there was
medical
no
factor.
like medical complications and everyone could just like birth freely, would you still be pro-choice, or is it because of the? Okay, I think I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And I think it's like
That's an
your take
interesting
being
way.
different is very personal, and I think I understand. Like I can empathize with it.
Yeah, no, I honestly don't really have an answer for that because I feel like, yeah, a lot of my position comes from it being medical, from a lot of medical stuff. There's just the abortion laws of like, there's like so many people that have been put into like poor medical positions just because their body wasn't prepared to have that pregnancy and now they need to keep it. But if that was taken away, I think that I would lean a little bit more towards pro-life, but I would still be in the middle because it's not my life. It's not my body. But as for men, I think that the reason that my position is changing is because a lot of what you've said has definitely opened my eyes to a new perspective that I hadn't looked at previously.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about it like that, especially with you saying like Bronze Age, like pro-lifers, like I do see what you mean with that, with how I view it. And well, I do think that everybody should have a choice. I just think it's so convoluted and so hard.
It's not hard.
To like,
No,
well,
it's very
for
simple.
legal.
It's
Legally.
I think it's very simple. Here's my position. In any state where a woman essentially has the right to murder her unborn child, a man should have a corresponding right to totally relinquish any responsibility or obligation to that woman financially. That's my position.
I think that that's valid.
I think
don't
that's- Yeah,
necessarily
if you don't-
perfectly agree, but I do definitely.
By the way, is
see where you're
Andrew's
coming
stream quality better? It looks better.
It is.
Hold on.
It is
I think
better.
it fixed.
Yes, it's
Okay.
It's
Go
going much better.
Oh,
I
thank
wonder.
you.
I wonder if I can just ask you a quick couple of
go for it.
questions. The first question I had for you is: do you think in the first 3 weeks, for instance, that termination of a fetus that's not a human life?
I think it's as much of a human life as an egg is a chicken.
Okay, gotcha. But understand that you supported the fact that the first 3 weeks of pregnancy, that a man should have to pay support in that instance. This would make the determination that this is a human being, correct? Child support would infer that this is a what?
I think that in an anti-abortion state,
Hang on.
Sorry.
Child support would infer that this is a what?
it would infer that it's a child. So I see your point.
It would infer that it's a
But I
child,
think-
and so if you're asking for support for a child, how can you then hold the two conflicting views that this is not a child unless you determine that it is because you want money?
It's not a child, but I think that I would only consider this in states. It highly depends if that state has abortion, like what their abortion laws are, to be honest. Because if they're forcing the
Yeah, we're
woman,
talking about the Kentucky abortion law. The Kentucky abortion law says that for a pregnancy, you can begin to collect
Ben
child
the
support
offender
early.
donated $100.
Sorry, Andrew, one sec.
This an extreme example, but imagine if this law passed in a state where abortion was legal up until birth. The women could just take money from a man, then abort the child.
Ooh, I don't think.
Wow, that's another consideration.
It's a good
Yeah.
point. I don't think
So-
any state should allow that.
So moving into the Kentucky,
Thank you,
the
Bender.
Kentucky law, the inference here is that this is a child, right? How could a person who was pro-choice take the money to begin with? Because then they would have to be admitting that this is a child, correct?
Well, I think that that's if it was the whole question originally was about the state of how Kentucky's bills are currently. I think
And
that
you
if
supported
you're,
it.
If you're if they have to keep the child, if the woman does not have a choice to keep the child, the man
Well, that's a
does not
different,
have
that's a
choice.
caveated position now, because your initial position was that you supported the fact that a man would have to support this pregnancy, and you said this is due to cost considerations. If that is true, then, and you would take the money, then you would have to be admitting that this is actually a child, yes?
No, I would be admitting that my body's going through something that needs medical bills and money.
I see.
It's
so
not a-
what
yeah.
you're saying, so what you're saying there is it's not a child because you want money.
No, I'm saying that if a child, a fetus, from the first part where it's not a child yet, they're still affecting the woman's body in a medical way where they need to pay for that. So at that point, no, you're not paying child support, in my opinion. You are paying medical support because you put this woman into a medical position that requires money. It's not about the kid, in my opinion, at this point, because as I said before, most of my stance comes from the medical side of this. So that's why I have that view, is because if the woman is needing to pay to, you know, do the things they need to do for their own body, regardless of the fetus child.
Then what, okay, I understand. Then what your position actually is that, no, I don't consider this to be a child. I just have the expectation that men will pay for and support whatever decisions you make for the pregnancy. Whether it be that you have the child all throughout the term, or if they pay for the abortion, halvesies on the abortion, I don't know. But that's the actual position, right?
Well, I just stated that I think that that should only be true if it's in a state where the woman doesn't have a choice either.
You mean where a woman has to, or has to
Yes.
bring the pregnancy to bear,
Yeah.
can't get an abortion early?
Exactly, yeah. If they're
Okay, but
obligated to go through those
let us
medical
assume,
things.
Yeah. So let us assume for a moment that she can get an abortion in this
Oh.
state, and they have a law, which says that the man would have to assist in the payment. Would you
I
be
don't-
against that law?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm only for the man being obligated in a way that the woman is as well.
Okay, I understand. Well, that's at least consistent, right? So when we can deconstruct it back a little bit, it's at least a bit consistent. So, but just understand that the law is basically stating this is a child right from inception. That's why child support is available, is because they're considering this to be a child.
I understand that. I'm looking at it from the medical and obligation point of view for literally what your body is actually going through and the costs that come with that. So for me, I'm looking at it just a little bit of a different direction than just the ethics of whether or not the fetus is considered a child.
Yeah, but medically, I mean, life begins at inception. That is the medical standard.
True, but I'm not talking about the fetus, I'm talking about the mother. The mother's the one who needs to pay. The mother's body is the one that's going through that, whether or not you get an abortion. But only if you have to carry that do I think that he has to help support you in that. I do think they should be able to argue the circumstances of it, but I think that in a general rule, if the woman has to pay those medical bills and they do not have a choice to have an abortion, then the man should have some part in that obligation as well.
Yeah, I don't think that that's the portion that's being argued, though. If we're going to assume that it's a living child from inception, I don't think anybody would say that the man wouldn't have to take care of his end of that obligation. But rather, we're trying to determine whether or not it is the case that you believe that this is a life to begin with. And if you don't, then asking for support as though it is seems inconsistent to me.
I don't think that you're asking for support for the fetus, though. You're asking for support for your medical bills for your own body. Even if the woman decides to get an abortion, that costs around $600 to $2,000, depending on where she can go. And so if the male counterpart of this responsibility is not willing to even a little bit help out with the medical bills, the woman...
Well, no,
for
I
a
mean,
lot of
that's
times
ridiculous. If his standard is that that is a child, why would he be obligated to assist you in your abortion?
No, he wouldn't. That's what I'm
You're
saying.
essentially
For
asking
abortion-
him to murder from his worldview with his money, right?
No, I'm saying if the woman cannot have an abortion, then the man should be obligated. If the woman can have an abortion, the man should have a choice as well. That's what I've been trying to say this entire time. I just don't.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that came
Okay,
across right.
well, trying to be charitable to the viewpoint here. I just noticed that was a massive inconsistency, but it seems like you've moved it back to a more consistent standard for us. So
Sure.
I appreciate that.
Good talk.
Any more shots? Your hair doesn't even look good, man. It looks like he's got a wig on, man. I have hair, but mine's from Turkey. Andrew, how old are you, brother?
When's the last time you guys were able to do that? What year? What year was the last time you guys could just do that?
Yeah, to be honest, it was 1989.
Sam, did your wife used to rub her hand through your hair like that before
Believe
she
it or
started
not.
blowing another guy?
Yeah. 100%.
We have Stifler here. Ask everyone to rate their looks on a scale of 1 to 10, starting with you.
Oh,
looks.
man.
Scale 1 to 10.
I'm a 10 to somebody.
You're a 10 to somebody?
Yeah.
What
I may not be a 10 to you or anyone else that you may meet, but I'm a 10 to someone, and so that's what
I'm probably.
What would you say that you are to most people?
Yeah, that's.
I'm not inside most people's heads, so I'm not going to answer that.
Well, you're
way.
not inside
I'm not going to
anybody's head, but
entertain
you
this
just said,
question
hang on.
because I feel like
hang
it's
on.
very
This makes no
degrading.
sense. Hang on. This makes no sense. You just said to somebody you're a 10, so apparently you can read somebody's mind, but you can't read everybody's mind.
Well,
so
somebody's
if you can
gonna
read,
tell
if
me
you,
that
if you
I'm
can read
a
at least
10
one
to
person's mind, they're going to think
No,
you're a 10.
someone will
What do you
tell
think
me.
most people think?
Actually, most people tell me that I'm a 10. So
Most people tell you you're a 10?
the ones that I interact with, and if they don't think that I'm a 10, then they don't need to interact with me. Period.
How does that conversation go? Do you ask them? Are you like, do you think I'm a 10?
No, I don't ask
Like,
that
how does that
question.
go?
I don't ask that kind
Are
of
these the
question.
simps on your OnlyFans?
No.
Okay.
That we don't talk about, they don't rate me. I don't ask to be
So
rated.
who are these people that are just randomly rating you a 10?
I don't ask to be rated.
Or-
I'm just saying, but to some people or a lot of people or the ones that I interact with, I am a 10, but it's not like a,
how would you know?
hey baby,
They tell you?
you're a 10.
What? But do they tell
I
you?
check all the boxes for a lot of people, and that's it. That's all that needs to be said.
You said that this question is what?
It's just, I don't remember the
You said
exact
degrading.
It's degrading,
Why
yeah.
is it degrading to
It's
ask?
literally degrading. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
I don't think that's the definition of degrading.
Yeah, but it's it's like going down a scale. You're degrading. So for me, I'm not going to engage with this anymore.
Okay. Let me ask. Well, here, I've got some questions for you.
Yes.
How tall are you?
5'7".
Do you have any preference at all when it comes to a man's height?
Okay. Yes.
What's your
I
preference?
prefer them to be same height or taller.
What's the ideal height for a guy for you?
Probably about 6 foot.
6 foot.
Mhm.
So, speaking of grades, speaking of like numerical ranking,
Yeah.
you are making an attractiveness assessment on a man based off of a literal measurement,
Okay.
a numerical
That would be
measurement.
an immutable characteristic.
Okay.
So you're making a assessment on them based off of a physical trait, like Andrew said, immutable
characteristic.
Immutable
Yeah.
characteristic.
Okay. But I'm not going to be like, oh no, you're an 8
so are
because
you
you're
degrading?
not 6 foot.
Are you degrading men by refusing to date men who are short, for
the
example?
topic here is what is your looks on a scale of 1 to 10, not how tall are you.
But you're saying it's degrading to have a conversation about one's looks.
To rate someone and to ask them like, hey,
But you do that same assessment when it comes to your potential romantic
but I'm
partners
not like you're an
when it
8
comes to their
because you're
height.
not 6 foot.
I think that it could be detrimental to somebody's self-esteem asking somebody like that type of question.
It's detrimental
But
to someone's self-esteem.
I feel like it could be that way, but
well,
I'm not saying that
they have
I
a
feel that way
weak
for
they have
that
a weak
question.
constitution, and they need to prepare themselves for the I shouldn't say brutalities.
Well, you've heard of the tale, of course, of the emperor with no clothes, right?
No, indulge me, please.
Oh, well, the emperor with no clothes, I'll just make it very, very quick, very brief. There was an emperor who was very picky about his clothing. They couldn't find the right clothing, and so everybody lied to him and told him that he was dressed, and he went through the streets naked while everybody just lied to him and told him how nice his clothing was, right? So I'm sure that was a big boost for his self-esteem to be lied to, but if he had a choice to know that he was naked or not, I wonder which thing he would have chosen.
It's an interesting story.
So wait, can you? How is it degrading?
I know you love this. I know you love this.
I love it.
I know you do. I know
I
this is
love
one
it.
of the favorite. This is like a pinpoint in your lovely show.
Sputnik.
It really is. But no, I honestly, like, I think that I'm a 10 to someone out there, and that's all that matters to me. And not everyone.
What's your own self-assessment
My own self-assessment
of your own looks?
is not something that I'm going to answer because I don't believe in that. So I'm not going to
All
encourage
right, here.
that.
Well, let's go around the table. Maybe I'll come back to that.
8.5.
8.5.
I'm a 7, but my fiance thinks I'm a 10.
Okay.
I'm not gonna sit here and rate myself, but I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But I think I'm pretty, but I don't think I'm. Not everybody likes, not everybody is attracted to me.
Okay, so you don't have to give yourself a precise rating, but do you think you're a 10?
No.
Okay.
Maybe no.
Oh, we're gonna say maybe I'm a what? Do you want to just rate yourself? It seems like you kind of want to just.
Okay. An 8.5.
Okay.
Yes.
What about you?
Same with her. I'm different to like everybody, but I'd say I'm like average.
So 5?
What is average?
I suppose that'd be 5. But you could be. I suppose average could also be 4 and 6.
Yeah, I'd say within that range, average.
Okay. So I'll just say 5. We'll say 5, I guess. Is that your end? Okay.
I'm fine with anything. I don't really care.
Well, just engage.
I don't know. I'm average. Whatever you.
It's not what I think.
Objectively,
being
like
perfect and one being
objectively in the world, there is like the prettiest to like the not like pretty as like objectively viewing a woman.
I think I'm still anywhere within like the 5 to 6 range.
Okay, sure.
Like average.
Yep.
6. We'll go 6.
Yep.
We'll go
Cool.
6.
A 6 before the baby, 4 now because I'm working on it.
Okay.
I would say a 6.
All right, Morgan.
Said 8 every show.
All right.
Still an 8.
I'm a 5. I'm a 5. Maybe there's someone out there who thinks I'm a 10.
Yes,
but my own.
absolutely.
Yes, but they're probably few and far between. My own self-assessment is I'm a 5.
I thought the last time you said you were a 7.
I said 6, and then I've said
Okay, then
like,
why did it go down?
oh, I've gained weight.
Oh,
I've gotten chubby.
okay.
Yeah, I've
Dad
gone a little
bod?
dad bod.
Those are hot.
Working on it.
There's a lot of
girls like
girls that like
dad bods.
burritos.
They're trendy.
But I'm ranking my own. I'm ranking my own. Also, I think that's partially. I think there's some women who are like maybe, but I think it's cap from most women who are like, oh, dad bods. So yes, I need to lose a bit of weight, so that's why I downgraded my my ranking. So easy. So, oh, Andrew, what are you?
4.
4. Okay. Wait. So going back to you, you said you're a 10.
Okay. And this is based on our own accord, right? So if it's my own accord, what does your opinion have to do with it?
Well, nothing really.
Nothing. In fact, it has nothing to do with
then
it.
the
So based on
question
your
has
own
been
accord, what would you say? According to you, you are.
Yes, I'm a 10. Is that what you
Oh,
want?
okay.
So
we just want an honest assessment of what you think you are.
We did it.
can I ask you a question? Who's
Yes.
a man who you think is unattractive?
I don't have any names.
Are you, when it comes to your politics, are you more liberal? Are you moderate? Or are you conservative?
I'm pretty apolitical.
Apolitical.
Mhm.
Do you know who Donald Trump is?
Yeah.
When it comes to your disposition towards him, do you like him or do you
Are you
dislike
going
him?
to ask me if I like Donald
Hold on.
Trump?
When it comes to your disposition towards Donald Trump, do you like him or do you dislike him as a person, politically, whatever it may be?
How did we go?
Now
from
there is
looks?
only one right answer.
Just
to this
engage.
question.
Just engage with the question.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Just engage with the question.
Okay, engaging with your question.
You don't need to repeat me. You can just answer the
I
question.
don't care for Donald Trump.
Do you? So you're leaning towards dislike.
I don't care for him. He has no
Okay.
place in my book.
Okay. So, do you find Donald Trump, is he a 10 to you in terms of looks?
He is not a 10, but he's a 10 to Melania, and that's him.
Okay. Now, if he were to come in here and say that he's a 10 your assessment and his assessment, there's a conflict there, right?
And that's his personal
Okay.
like MO.
So your position is not everybody can be a 10 or everybody is a 10, correct?
No, anyone can be any number they want in their head. That is my position.
So
that is my stance on this.
let me ask you a question. So if Donald Trump, and maybe you wouldn't even say this to his face, but if Donald Trump said, I'm a 10 out of 10,
Yeah.
in your head, would you disagree with his assessment of himself? You don't have to tell him, but would you disagree with his assessment?
If Donald Trump was like, hey, Addie, I'm a 10, I'd be like, great. That's great, Donald. I'm happy for you.
But would you disagree with his assessment?
No.
You might placate him in his delusion, but
No, it doesn't matter to me.
it's not. I'm not asking if it matters or it doesn't matter to you. I'm asking if you, in your own mind, would you disagree with his assessment of his own attractiveness?
No.
Mm.
Because what he thinks in his mind does
Who's
not
that
matter
guy
to
on that show who's got the kind of funny neck, who's like overweight? What? Ed?
90 Day Fiance.
Can you pull up Google images of Ed?
Oh my god.
He thinks he's a 10.
Okay, so let's say Ed's here on the show.
So excited.
Big Ed. Big Ed. No, like Ed. I was sucked into that season.
Yes.
I've only seen the pictures on
No,
the
just
internet.
let her.
You haven't watched it yet?
What's going on back there?
I love 90 Day Fiance.
That's
What-
cool. You
what's-
just
what's going on,
you just
huh?
got to say he's a 10 out of 10, right?
Okay. So let's say he comes on the show and he says, I'm a 10.
Okay.
He's overweight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Is he? I don't know. I've never seen this bullshit show.
I haven't watched it.
Okay, he says he's a 10. Do you disagree with that? Would you disagree with him?
The question is to his own accord in his own book. So what he rates himself in his own book has nothing to do with me.
Well, it has to do with the reality.
He's living his own reality as I'm living my own, and you're living yours. So it doesn't matter.
You're really dancing around this conversation.
Do you think there's like an objective, like 1 to 10 at all? Or is like everybody, you can say you're a 10, you're a 10?
If you're a 10, you're a 10.
What's your perfect guy? Like, describe him. Like, how tall is he?
My perfect guy is the one that I'm with right now. 6'2", ripped body, and
Isn't that
great.
funny?
Is he?
She says she would date a guy her height and above, but the guy she happens to be in a relationship with is in the like top 5 percentile of height. You said he's 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
Women always say this. Well, I would date a short guy. I would date a guy
I've dated
who's
a
my
short
blah blah
guy.
blah blah blah. And then you ask them, well, who are you dating? 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3".
It's true.
It's fucking such cap. It's such cap.
No, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
From your perspective, I understand what you're saying. You're saying this is a subjective metric. There's really no way for me to determine somebody's personal self-assessment of themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. Can you, from your own metric, judge whether or not a woman is pretty?
Beauty is
Personal
subjective.
preference.
Beauty is subjective.
From your
in the eyes of the
subjective
beholder.
preference, can you subjectively determine if a woman is pretty?
I have my personal preferences, yeah.
Yeah, so you can make the determination subjectively if a woman is pretty. So couldn't you subjectively then take all of those things which you would consider pretty in a woman and then apply them to yourself?
Sure.
Okay, so if you did that, what would your rating for yourself be?
I don't have one.
Yeah, but you just said you did because you have one for other women.
My ideal woman is probably somewhere a little bit shorter than me, 36C on the cup, active, cares about herself, cares about the environment, And like that's just my
And
type
that's
when
a
it
10.
comes to
That's a
women.
10 to you, right?
Yeah, sure.
And are you that?
I'm not. I can't do anything about this right here.
Well, if you're
That- I
not
can't. So
that,
if this
then
makes
if you were,
me-
hang
if
on,
this makes
if
me
you
not a
aren't
10.
that, hang on, if you aren't that thing that you just said is the perfect
Oh,
beauty standard for you, then why would you apply, even subjectively, a 10 standard to yourself?
Because there's, unless I get a reduction, there's nothing that I can do to change that. I just think a 36C is perfect.
Right, I know, and you fall short of what that perfection is,
I
of what
do,
you
so I
consider
must be a 6.
of what
I
you
must-
consider a
okay.
10 to be. So
I'm a
then, even
6
by your
because
own
my tits are
subjective
so big.
standard, hang on, even by your own subjective standard, which you're falling short of, how could you then still call yourself a 10?
Because I'm a 10 to someone.
Yeah, I know, but to you even. You are applying your own standard to you based on what you think of other women,
I'm
because
not
that's the
gonna
only way
denote-
you can come
I'm
up
not-
with a
I'm not
standard
gonna,
for
like,
yourself.
take
That's the only
away-
thing you can see.
I love it. Thank you so much. This is a lot of fun.
I mean, I'm having a ball.
Me too. Thank you.
So anyway, back to the question. Even if it's subjective, it seems that you can have an objective metric, at least even from a subjective preference, because you make that metric for other women all the time. Why can't you apply it to
Okay.
you?
Here you go. Here's your answer. I'm an 8 because my tits are too big to be a 10.
Okay, fair enough.
Mm.
At least we got an answer that, we think you actually might believe.
That one was funny. I just want to say I'm a 10 to her. Like, I'm a 10 to her.
Are you 36C?
I was
Yay.
before the baby. That'll come back.
Here, Morgan, Nick, can you pull up these chats? We'll have Morgan read your chat.
By the way, did you say the environment?
Yeah,
Why
I
is
was
there
gonna
somebody who
ask,
cares about the
actually,
environment?
well, what's
Well, how
going
does
on
that
with the
apply to a
environment?
beauty standard if they care about the environment?
It's just a
Like,
trait
couldn't
that
they be,
I
couldn't they
enjoy.
be like an evil oil driller and just out there just drilling oil and being like, "Fuck the environment," and still fit all of the beauty criteria you
In
have?
your reality, rate your intelligence on a scale of 0 to 200. P.S. Shout out to Gustavo for keeping his eyes up all show.
Go around the table on that. Go ahead.
Intelligence? Yeah. On a scale of 0 to 200?
Yes.
I would say I'm about 100 for intelligence.
Go.
Keep going.
Go around.
Keep
around the
going.
table. Keep going. Go ahead.
Rating your intelligence.
Disregard what's going on.
Wait, sorry. What was the question?
In your reality, rate your intelligence from 0 to 200.
From 0 to 200.
Yeah, intelligence.
73.
Say 73.
73.
73?
Yes.
Are you sure you don't want to revise that?
Well, no, actually, yeah. Maybe like, I don't know. That's a weird question. I guess like 100. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not saying I know everything in the world. I don't know. Those are weird questions, but I'm not like.
Well, 100 would be like the average, would be like the middle, sort of. So you probably want to be above that.
Okay.
I reckon you'd be above 100.
Yeah, you don't want to be 73, I promise.
Yeah,
You don't wanna
that's
be
not.
there.
That would not be intelligent.
Okay.
Anyway.
Can you pull your mic to the edge of the table?
140, I think.
What?
What?
What, 40?
Well, if you put it in a bell curve, like the middle would be 100, right? So I don't think I'm 200, but I think I'm past the middle. So probably like a standard deviation from the middle. I don't know how much that would be, but I'd say 140, 150.
Like a
I'm
thought
not,
process.
I don't think I'm a genius.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
140 is really, really high, just so you know.
Ah, okay. I didn't.
That's like super. That's not that common to find 140.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, So, I mean, the question's alluding to IQ. It's asking what you guys think your IQ is.
Yeah.
Right? And so 73 is basically mentally handicapped, so I'm glad that, that was...
Well, I'm
that was
sorry.
moved
I
on
wasn't
from, but-
understanding the question, and then I was like, wait, what? And then I answered, so my apologies.
Yeah, no. I understand. You didn't understand the context of the question. I'm not holding it against you. I'm just kind of outlining what the question really was about, was trying to determine what you think your intelligence is. So
That was a fun. I like how you have all these fun little games.
well,
I
didn't send in the super chat. I just understood it.
Oh, it was the super chat. See, I was so not paying attention that I didn't even know it was a super chat. I thought it was like.
I don't know. Did we go around on that, or are we still stuck on her?
I think we're on her.
Yeah.
What's the question? What's the...
Rate your intelligence from 0 to 200.
It's the mic.
How do I talk into it?
I think I have a low IQ, if I'm being honest. I was not the brightest student in school, so yeah.
I'd say 133.
I'd say maybe 110.
I would say like 115.
I was going to say around a 130, 140.
So this is basically IQ?
It's IQ.
Yeah.
I feel like I did this a while ago. I don't remember what my result was.
I took an IQ test. I can't remember.
I took an IQ test on a...
I'm so glad I'm not dating donated $100. Who would you choose? 10/10ths, Jason Momoa, Brad Pitt, etc. No ambition, lazy fast food worker. Or Donald Trump as he currently is. Teflon Don to some, Trump 2024. Make America less stupid again.
Who would you choose? 10 out of 10, Jason Momoa, Brad Pitt, but no ambition, lazy fast food worker. So this is basically like physically attractive guy, but no money, no status, no ambition, lazy fast food worker, or Donald Trump as he currently is. Starting with you.
There's two options though. Fast food worker or Donald Trump?
Okay, really hot, broke guy versus Donald Trump.
Okay.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
So IQ is based off common sense, so I'm guessing Donald Trump.
Wait.
You got a few more points.
And I'm being very serious. Like, so serious.
What about you?
Neither. Honestly, whatever my boyfriend is, I don't care if he's rich or poor.
Oh my God.
That's my answer.
Just answer the question.
I don't care though.
Oh my God! Wait, hold on. I don't think she understood the question.
Wait. Who are we laughing at?
Brian, I'm sorry.
Are we laughing at me or
No, because
her?
I don't think she to go back a little bit. I know, but I don't think she understood the question. You know what I'm saying?
What was the question?
What did you think the question was right now? We need to clarify this right now. So sorry.
Actually,
but
can you?
No. What do you think the question was?
No, this is yeah.
I don't know. Can you repeat the question? Do you want to go back to me?
No, please repeat the question so she knows now.
Okay. Really hot, attractive guy, but he's a no ambition, lazy fast food worker, or Donald Trump to date, sleep with, whatever.
Okay, my bad. Donald Trump. Yeah.
Yeah, same answer.
See, same answer, but it was just funny. I just sorry. You too? Okay, thank you.
Hypothetical.
Okay, hypothetical. I'll go with Donald Trump, I guess.
Okay.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump all day. Every day.
Mm-hmm.
And on my ballot.
Now you have to ask yourself. Now you have to ask yourself, if you kind of switch things up a little bit, what do men pick if you were to take a really successful female politician versus
a homestead,
a 10 out of 10
broke
McDonald's
bum girl?
Yeah, the dudes.
No, the one that stays with her parents, doesn't know how to do her laundry.
Well, that's not part of the.
No, she's a bum. That's a bum. I feel like that's a bum.
No, that's ideal, actually. Well,
If she doesn't know how to do her laundry
The
and
staying
she
with
doesn't
the
know how to
parents.
cook, she
I
doesn't
meant
take out her
the
trash,
staying with the
and her
parents.
room is dirty. Let's have.
Yeah,
let's-
that's- okay.
No, let's. I want to know about that one.
so staying with the parents is actually pro typically.
I
but
know, but I'm talking about all the other things.
Other shit. Well,
Doing
the
that and
scenario
still
is no
staying with your
ambition,
parents?
lazy fast food worker. Yeah, I'm taking the 10 out of 10.
Even though
No laundry
she doesn't do her laundry
I'm-
at her parents'
don't
house,
care.
and she can't cook
versus
at her parents'
Kamala
house.
Harris. Yeah, I'll take the fucking 10 out of 10 versus Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I'm gonna take the 10 out of 10 McDonald's employee.
She definitely wouldn't do anything. If
Bro,
it was
I ain't
Kamala.
fucking Hillary Clinton. Sorry. It's not
I'll give
happening.
you that.
Not
Okay,
happening.
yeah, like, because honestly, I can't even argue with you on that. either.
Right?
I feel like
Sorry, I
the guy-
can't. Like, Brian, that's funny.
The guy scenario, yeah. If I was
I bet those glasses make you see better.